Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dominic, and on my channel we talk about stable diffusion, AI, images in general, and of course the tool focus, which I like to use the most. In today's video I want to talk about editing feet and toes, because everybody is talking about hand editing, which is quite obvious because most of the time the hands of our AI models are visible, but sometimes also the feet and toes are visible, and in my opinion this is not addressed enough. And today I want to show you my unique approach of handling these errors, because sometimes in painting doesn't work and we don't find a perfect LoRa to fix the job, and that's why you have to know how to replace destroyed toes to make the feet look perfect. And this is what we do in this video. To do that, we will use an image manipulation program called GIMP, which is quite old already, but it's completely free and it's doing the job quite well. And as always, I will show you how to do it on my screen. So let's go. Good. Before I show you what to do in the image manipulation program to replace the toes, I want to show you what we actually want to achieve. As you can see, I opened here our original image, the destroyed foot and the destroyed toes, and on the right side you will see the final result. So the toes are now perfect. And how do we do that? We replace these destroyed toes by perfect toes of a random image, and afterwards we have our final result. And so the first step in this whole process is to find an image of a foot that has a similar angle and a similar shoe, and which is more or less what we want to achieve. And I can tell you, you will always find a perfect image. Just search in the internet and you will find something. And for example, sometimes the foot is the other way around, but you can always apply like mirroring the image or turning the image a little bit, so you will find the perfect angle. No worry about that. Now we are in the image manipulation program called GIMP, which is completely free, but I just like to work with that program. Even though it's not as powerful as, for example, Photoshop, I like that it's free and it's still doing the job. So I can recommend you this software as well. And then you open the original image 2 times. We need that to always have the original background available, because we will use that in our editing as well. And then you also have to open your source image for the foot, and that's actually all. And then we can start the process. And in the first step, you zoom in and you assess what you actually want to achieve. And as you see, the toes are quite long and the shoe is also quite long. And here the shoe is a little bit shorter and also the toes are a little bit shorter. So in the first step, we just have to move this front part of the shoe a little bit more backwards, because this is the background, and later we will place the toes on top and it will look perfect. So we do that now. We zoom in, maybe even a little bit more, 800%. Then we use this lasso tool up here. And in the first step, we just have to move this front area a little bit backwards. And this is actually super easy to achieve. We just cut along this line here, something like that. And just make sure you hit these edges here where the shoe actually begins. And then we go forward and we close this loop, something like that. Then we can go over to our original image. This is why we have to open it 2 times. We zoom in a little bit. And now we just take a copy of this whole front area. And with Control C, we make a copy. We go back and with Edit, Paste into Selection, we can paste that background here in our selection. And with the lasso tool, we can move around now the original image. And you see, normally it was like this, and now we can just move the front of our foot backwards to achieve something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. And then we just zoom out a little bit to check whether this makes sense or not. So when we check our image now and compare with the goal, I think we can work like that. Maybe we shove it in even a little bit more, just a tiny bit. and then it should be fine. Good. We confirm that with this green button down here. Now it's fixed and we can actually uncheck our selection, select none, and now this is our state. And in the next step, I want to paint this background area also white, so that when we place our toes later on top, these toes are no longer visible. This is what we do now. We zoom in more and then we just mask an area like that. I want this whole background here painted with the shoe color. We go like this, and here we try to unite it again with the original shape. We go around the edge here and then we close the loop. Good. And this area I want to paint now in this color. So I use this color picker, this one, and I just select this gray tone. I click OK, and now I can drag this color over and the whole background is now painted gray. Good. Then we do select none, and now the base of our foot is already ready and we can paste in our toes. So to do that, we go over to our foot image. I zoom in a little bit more. And now we have to cut them out. And we do that also with the lasso tool. And we just go around these toes. Something like that. We don't have to be too precise here, but here at the edges a little bit more. And we just go around. Good. And with Control C, we make a copy. And then you select File, New, Advanced Options, and here at the background we select Transparency. Then we click OK. So we create a new transparent image, and with Control V we paste in our toes, and we can confirm that with the green button. So now we have them cut out and saved. And now we have to find the perfect size of our toes and also the perfect angle of our toes to paste them in here. This is the next step. So we do that by selecting the lasso, and then we go around the silhouette of our shoe, something like that. Because here we have to shove in now our new toes, because this is the goal, right? And we go around here, and from the edges on here and here, you don't have to be too precise because our toes will be bigger anyway. Good. But this upper border is important because from that point on the toes will disappear within the shoe. Good. Then we go over and we can select our toes, Control C. Then we go back, and then when you go to Edit, Paste into Selection, you see our toes are now within the selection. So this is important, but you see they are way too big. And now it's a little bit a difficult part of this tutorial. Just uncheck that with Control Z. Now you have to find the perfect size of the toes and also the perfect angle of the toes. And yes, this needs a little bit of testing out, trying, go back, do it again. And I already did that. So I already found the perfect angle and also the perfect size. But I want to show you how you can adjust angle and size as well here in the image we just created. So to do that, you select the toes, and with Control X you can cut them out, and with Control V you paste them in, but now they are selected. And you can go to Layer, Transform, Arbitrary Rotation, and then you can rotate them however you want. And by selecting Layer, Scale Layer, Percentage, you can make them bigger or smaller however you want. For example, you can go to 40% scale, and now they are smaller. And afterwards you can do Control C, make a copy, go back to your toes, and with Edit, Paste into Selection, you can paste them in. So these are the steps, but as I already did this, I go to my selection here and I just select them with Control and C. Now they are copied. I go back to the edited image, and with Edit, Paste into Selection, I paste them in here. And with the lasso, I can move them around. And as you see now, we can actually fit them in perfect within our shoe. And now it's just important to play around a little bit to find the perfect spot, because if we go too much to the right side, it doesn't look good, but also too much on the left, it also doesn't look good. So we have to find the perfect spot. And yeah, take your time here, because this is an important step. And I think like this it could look quite well. Then it's important to zoom out a little bit to see the whole image and to make sure it actually looks good. Yeah, like this it actually looks quite good. And now, as you can see, we have to take care of the color, and this is what we do now. And here it's also important to be zoomed out a little bit, that we also see the rest of the foot. And then we go to colors, and as you can see, the toes look warm and kind of yellow, and we have to change that. So we go to color temperature, and most of the time, just with the color temperature, you're already halfway there. And if you move that to the right, you see the toes get colder now. And if you move them to the left, they get even warmer. But we want it colder. And when we play around with this parameter, I think, let's see, something like that could actually work. Good. Or maybe a little bit more. Yeah, this looks good. And here you have a split view. And when you click that, you see, okay, before it was like that, and now it looks like that, way better. You can confirm. And one last step, I think we should make them even a little bit darker. So you go to color, brightness, and then we lower this also. Of course, not too much, because then they're too dark. But I think if we lower them just a tiny bit, this could also look better. Something like that. Split view, we can compare. You see, before they were a little bit shiny, and now it's better. We confirm that with OK. And then we can hit here this green button and confirm. When we then go to select none, you see we're actually done. We zoom in more, and now you see this looks quite well. Of course, it's not perfect. Here at the edge, we still can do some editing, but I guess you confirm that this already looks way better than the mess we had here. And I also want to clean up the edge a little bit, so you see how to do that. And you just take the lasso, and then you start, for example, here, and you just cut off this little tiny edge, and you go back here. And then we just have to find a piece of the background to make that happen. Control C and edit, paste into selection. And with the lasso, we can move this piece around. As you can see, here was the original area. And I think like this, it could work. We confirm that, select none. And as you see, now it looks perfect. Good. You see, the toe is now perfectly fixed and the shoe looks good. And when we go over to the other one, of course, we also have to do the same thing here. Just go to Google, find a similar foot in a similar position, cut out the toes, and then replace them. And as you can see, you can achieve a quite impressive result. Of course, we can do even more perfectionizing here. We can, for example, use the lasso tool down here to mark this edge, and afterwards we can apply a little filter, the blur filter, Gaussian blur, and we can blend in these edges a little bit. Okay, when we do that, select none, you see the illusion gets even better. But this is all like fine-tuning. I wanted to show you the general method how to do that, and I think we did a quite good job here. This looks way better, and now you know how to change out the toes to make the feet look perfect. Good, that's it for the tutorial, and keep in mind that you can use this method also for other areas. For example, you could fix hands or other body parts with the same method again. Because sometimes in painting just doesn't get the job done, and then you have to know how to fix the image anyway. And in my opinion, this approach is quite powerful and you can use it for almost everything, even though it's a little bit more work. But if you have practiced with that, you will see you get it done quite fast. And if you want to learn more about that, please check out my video courses. I just launched a complete editing course where I show you all my methods how to fix an AI model from head to toe. Good, that's it for the video. I hope you liked it. Please let me know in the comments if this method makes sense to you. And I always appreciate a like, a follow, and I hope we see each other in the next video. Take care and goodbye.